All right, good morning. Breaking out the TMG Fridge 48 today. Gonna kind of run through how I run it. I'm gonna smoke a pork butt on here today and make some pulled pork. I've got my little barbecue buddy with me. But I just want to show you how you set it up. So how I start it, and probably how a lot of people start, is a lot use a charcoal chimney. I just, to avoid one more step, I'll load the basket with lump charcoal, and then I'm gonna torch it here in a minute with the torch, get it going, and once it's nice and hot, then I'll start putting the splits on and we'll be rolling. So anyway, just wanted to kind of show how I get that going. But yep, so that's that. I'm gonna light her up and we'll start putting the wood on. And here's the pork butt. I found kind of one of the smallest ones they had, just doing a test run on the TMG, so nothing big, not cooking for anybody or for a big group or anything. So I tried this HEB Sweet Texas Heat on ribs in one of my last cooks, and I really like it. I like sweet on pork, whether it's ribs or pork butt. So I'm gonna let this soak in for a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna put the pork butt on the TMG. All right, we've got the smoker going. Just to get it going, so at the beginning of the cook, I put charcoal in the basket, get it hot, put a log on, and then to get it up to temperature, I usually put about 3 logs in here, and still kind of getting to know the smoker, but I've got 3 splits in there, get it up to temperature, and then rock with 1 split at a time and see kind of how long it goes. I'm guessing about 45 minutes for adding every split. I do have the pork butt on here as we're coming up to temperature, so you can see it's just a little one, but this thing has so much room inside. So that's the one big advantage of this smoker, is I've always had pipe offset smokers, and they've always been about 24 by 48. So to give you an idea, each rack in this Fridge 48 is 24 by 48, so there's 3 of them. So to give you an idea, this is kind of like having 3 24 by 48 pipe smokers lined up side by side by side. So this thing kind of triples the cooking space that some of the pipe offsets I've had. So loving it, getting it up to temperature. I'll keep you posted. Okay, I wanted to show you guys, to me, this is the most important step on pork butts when you're making pulled pork. I've never had pulled pork from any restaurant, and I've been to plenty of the top 50 Texas barbecue joints, so Franklin's, Dane's, Zavala's, countless others, and there's never been pulled pork that touches this or comes anywhere close. So, pulled pork most times, even from the best places, is not going to be half as juicy and moist as this. So this is the step that creates the best pulled pork. There's nothing else that gets close to this. So what I do is, the pork butt has reached about 175 degrees internal temperature. So I'm about to take it out off the smoker and put it in this foil, and then finish it off till it hits about 203, 204 for pulled pork. And it just makes it unbelievably juicy and tasty. So what I do, it doesn't look pretty in the foil, but what it is brown sugar, honey, and then any kind of barbecue sauce. So I just have a sweet barbecue sauce on here, and then wrap it up, and that just melts down, and just the pork just sits in there swimming in that goodness. And then when you let the pork rest after it's done cooking, the key is to put make a hole in the foil, get a big bowl or whatever you want to pull the pork in, but I prefer a huge bowl. Put the pork butt in there and open the foil up, and let every single bit of this juice that's in this foil go into the bowl with the pork butt, and then just shred it. And I tell you, it is the juiciest, tastiest thing you've ever had. Ribs, brisket, everyone's got their styles of doing those, and they all turn out different. Just marbling in the meat. There's different things that go into those that can make them different every single time. But pulled pork, this will give you the best pulled pork every single time. It turns out amazing every time. You cannot miss with this, and there's not a restaurant you'll go to that'll touch this. and get anywhere close to being as good as this is. So I'm gonna go get the pork butt, wrap it up in here, finish it till about 203, 204 degrees, and then I'm gonna let it rest in a cooler for 2 hours, give or take, and then we'll shred it up and eat. But this to me is the most important step, because this will all melt down, render down with the meat, and then you shred the meat with this melted down in there goodness. You can also throw some butter. Sometimes I'll put butter in there, but with all this, I don't think you need the butter, because that fat from the pork butt will render in there too. So that fat kind of gives you the same quality that butter will. But this to me is huge. So if you follow this at home, I promise you it'll be the best pulled pork you've ever had. Time to get the pork butt and wrap it up. One quick shot. So here's the pork butt. I got it off the smoker, and then there's all the goodness under it. So here it goes. I'm gonna wrap it up and let it finish off. Okay, the pork butt's rested for about 2 to 3 hours. So now I'm gonna show you what all this juicy goodness looks like and what makes this pulled pork, doing it this way, better than anything you will ever eat at any barbecue restaurant, Franklin's, any top barbecue place you can even think of. This will just blow it out of the water. So just to kind of see already, I usually have a little bigger bowl already, but this was kind of a small pork butt. So let's see here. See all the juice. And this was a boneless pork butt. Usually I try to buy bone in. I don't think it really matters too much, but boneless was all HEB had this time. But I mean, that juice. So that is the brown sugar, the honey, and the barbecue sauce just melted down in there with this pork butt, that entire cook. So you can see, and then, you know, you can use your claws, which I've got those, or the tongs. So basically, as you mix this up, it'll just soak in all these juices. But I'll come back when I've got this all pulled apart so you can kind of see the finished product. But it's starting to soak up the juices, and I'll show it to you here in 1 second. So here's the pulled pork. You can see, I mean, the meat just soaked up all that juicy goodness that was in there. And this is as moist a pulled pork as you will ever eat in your entire life. No one will eat this pulled pork and tell you this isn't the best pulled pork they've ever had. That compliment happens every time you'll serve this up. This is it. So I'm gonna make a sandwich, but just wanted to show off that finished product. Enjoy.